how should startups hire, and even for that matter, how should organizations hire. I may understand that a lot of you are thinking, because that's the kind of audience I'm attached to, which is really young, in probably current students and young current professionals, that Shatakshi, we never get to take such interesting calls, when to hire, when to fire. But trust me, in some shape or format, if you are smart enough, you can always influence your bosses, right? You can influence managers, you can influence organizations also. People do take a note of such interesting observations if you try to build a science towards the intuitive thinking. With that, let's directly jump into the problem statement for today, or the case, mini caselet that we are trying to bring here. Many a times startups hire very frequently, right? In the news, you will get to hear, oh my God, OYO is hiring, oh my God, urban companies hiring, so on and so forth. And then suddenly in the news, we get to hear, and I'm not just talking about recent phenomena, the recent corona, because of which COVID, the firing has happened. This is very common, actually, interestingly, in startups also, that they fire also in massive numbers. The layoffs have happened in Flipkart, in Amazon, etc. Right? I would not even label Amazon as a startup today, though culturally they are. But we need to understand what really went wrong. There is so much emotion, so much science, so much energy that goes into hiring, and it is not just for HR. As a startup founder, I know this, that there is so much energy that you put in hiring the right talent, because by end of the day, you can't solve everything by yourself, right? You need good talent, mission oriented, as well as intellectually and morally oriented, and after a point of time, you're just firing them. So how can you build analytical decision making into this entire exercise so that you're more efficient and more productive in your hiring, right? So the concept, the tool that will come again to our, how should I rather say, to our help or to our saving would be an economics tool, a microeconomics tool. It's called diminishing marginal utility curve. Probably few of you would have already heard about this, but I'm not sure how many of you have actually applied it from the lens of hiring principles. So usually how it operates like this, for example, and I'm taking hypothetical numbers. The first 10 people, let's say, that you will hire at a firm will add a lot of value individually to the organization or to the department. Let's say the first person who's hired will contribute X value. The next person who will be hired will produce X value, so on and so forth, up till a point. After that point, right, after that point, the individual entity will start contributing X minus value. I'm not saying a negative value, there can be a unique case like that, but what I'm trying to say, a value which is not equivalent to X but little tad less than the X. And even if you think intuitively, right, I've been a project manager when I was in Government of India. I was managing 2 teams. One of them was 5-member, the other one was 4-membered. And in between, the 5-member team had, at a point of time, for whatsoever reason, was 7-membered. And I realized it was becoming really hard for them to be productive. I'm not saying that it was becoming hard for me to manage them, but it was very hard for them to be productive. There is gossip going on. There are lack of a lot of non-productive things after a point of time. So you really need to understand in teams, in departments, and in organizations, what is that healthy optimal number at which everyone is being their productive best, right? And is not being chaotic, and is not that person who is not contributing as much value as they should be, right? Allow me to now bring the science through a beautiful curve that we all learn in economics. This is basically the beautiful curve that I'm talking about, the diminishing marginal utility curve. If you read this curve, right, it is a subjective value on the y-axis and the objective gain in the y-axis. What I'm trying to say is, initially, the value that you will gain from the initial hires will be really steep. And after a point of time, the value that you will start getting will start diminishing, right? I can understand if a lot of you are thinking that, Shatakshi, we knew this intuitively, where is the MBA concept coming into picture? I can totally understand that, but have you ever plotted this graph before? Do you know what if the number is 15th, 16th, or 17th, for that matter, in a department after which you should not hire in that particular division? We don't know that. We intuitively know that, but we don't know the number. And how does usually MBA help you? MBA is basically a scientific decision-making tool. It is a skill set of tools which allow you to take decisions more rationally, so that the probability of failure goes down.